WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is now 8:09. And we have joining Chris. Well, you're listening to Ari and, of course, Christal. And we have joining us Doc Thompson. But Doc seems to be having some issues with his connection there. So,
I think he has fruits. Maybe he should get some fruits, might help the connection.
but Christal said something to me off air that spoiled my entire day. And I needed to spoil other people's day. I don't care. I don't care.
Are you
So
for
the
real?
first song that played was Consideration by Rihanna and SZA.
But I've never heard.
That she's never heard. So we were discussing Rihanna's album and she said, Rihanna never coming back, right? Now, why would you spoil my day like
Rihanna's
that?
not
Why
coming
would
back
you make
to
that
performing.
comment? Why would you make that
Rihanna
comment?
is not coming back. If she were to come back, she would have come back already. But look at what she's been doing, right?
Why you believe she's not coming back?
She has given birth to 2 children, so she's focusing on her family. She dived more into business. So she doesn't really need also to come back right now.
Who performed at the 2022 Super Bowl?
And she killed it. I mean, look at the dance move with the hand behind her back, and she just like shake it.
Mhm.
But I don't think music wise, I don't think she's coming back. She's had 1 or 2 singles. That song that everybody was saying. Well, not everybody. Some persons sort of didn't like. I can't remember the movie that it was a soundtrack for, but
I don't know.
Rihanna's not coming back.
I believe
Rihanna's
she
not
is.
bringing back an album.
I believe
No.
she has one more up her sleeve. I will not count her out.
No, she doesn't need to either.
She doesn't
can
need to.
live off.
She
She's
doesn't.
like
She doesn't
almost,
need to. She doesn't need to.
almost in the. I don't want to say like Michael Jackson, but she is retired, and she didn't even say she retired. She's not coming back.
The fact that she didn't say it means she's coming back. But
She's not coming back. Hi, Doc. We were just filling the air while we waited for you.
My sincerest apologies. Let me center up myself and so forth, and let me try and get to the same size. My head was looking so big there and so forth compared to yours. Ari.
you want me to comment on that, Doc, and I will not comment.
Doc, you want to center yourself? Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm a little better there. Good morning. How are you? Oh gosh, what a morning. I've left the cold of Bolivia, and now I am in a little bit of the cold of the United States. So I'm still out of the country. I'm not going to say exactly where I am.
Uh-huh.
I should be back shortly. I should be back shortly.
From one coast to the next. I thought you were gonna say to the warmth of XYZ. I don't know, like Brazil or something.
Yes, but there are things you can't say on radio. And so
No. Because let's say she thought you were going to say another warm country.
Warmth. You left the cold for a warmer climate.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well, it is a warmer climate, but somehow or the other there's a cold spell, and that just happens. That just happens. It's a little chilly.
Oh dear.
But let me say, in Bolivia, quickly, I was there on an international drug conference between the European Union and CELAC, and I had the honor of moderating a panel discussion with the Vice President of Bolivia, ministers from Colombia and from Europe. Very interesting discussion and debate, and a number of things really came out. And I was able to make some contact at the highest level in relation to some help and assistance on guidance on the whole issue of crack cocaine, and exactly how do we do it, because it's something that's sweeping through Europe, sweeping through Belgium in particular. And I was able to speak to a number of experts and so on, and they're willing to assist St. Vincent. Of course, I have to go through and speak with the authorities in St. Vincent, but St. Vincent being the current president of CELAC, and the conference is coming up on March 1st, where we are handing over the presidency. It's been a very successful period for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and getting a whole set of things done during the time they've been president. And I'm really pleased to see that there's now the Declaration of La Paz on drug abuse and so forth. And it's been very interesting that our presidency has helped to shape this. And I was there in La Paz to actually help to guide it along in some small measure.
Okay, Doc. Well, we have definitely discussions I would like to have surrounding CELAC as well. But before we get into that, I want to talk about something a little closer to home.
Yes.
There's a story on Eyewitness News that says absence of psychiatrist hinders Rose Hall baby killing investigation. So the story reads, 2 weeks after 1-year-old baby Jenny died in Rose Hall after her throat was slit, allegedly by a relative, investigators are only now beginning to make some progress on the case, as far as interviewing the suspect is concerned. Eyewitness News understands that the detectives were only able to interview the 22-year-old male suspect in this weekend after a retired mental health practitioner had been retained to treat him because he had displayed signs of mental illness. St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to be without the services of a psychiatrist, a situation that has been ongoing for years, despite concerns by High Court judges. Eyewitness News understands that a number of people in Rose Hall are suspected to be affected by what observers say could be to drug-induced psychosis amidst reports of proliferation of unintentional cocaine use in the North Leeward village. Janae is the second baby to die in SVG in less than a year, allegedly at the hands of a mentally ill relative. On May 5th, 2023, a 6-month-old died in Belair, allegedly after being thrown from a first-floor apartment to the ground, apparently by an adult relative who had a history of mental illness. At a New Democratic Party press conference in Kingston on Wednesday, Eyewitness News noted to Central Kingston MP Sinclair Leacock, the opposition spokesperson on national security, that police had not been able to interview the suspect. Eyewitness News further pointed out that when someone is alleged to have committed a serious violent crime, the public tends to be dismissive of concerns about the alleged perpetrator's mental health. We can't have a society and take care of our mentally ill people, which is a serious problem, and don't appreciate the need to have one psychiatrist, but certainly must be more than one, Leacock said. I've had the unfortunate privilege to go to what we call the mental home already, and I tell you, you wouldn't want to have your relatives being taken care of in the way that they are there. I'm sure that they're, which suggesting the staff, trying their best, but it's something that has to be addressed immediately. So what are your thoughts, Doc?
Well, I think everyone should understand that there are two disciplines. There's the discipline, what we call psychology, and there's a discipline of psychiatry. With psychology, somebody can become a clinical psychologist and can essentially do a lot of what even a psychiatrist could do. But the laws require certain things to be done by a psychiatrist, and that the clinical psychologist may not be able to do all those things. Currently, I would say our mental health service is being run by a highly professional, efficient clinical psychologist. And basically, the mental home, as you would know, underwent some major repairs after a fire and other things like that several years ago. A psychiatrist is one of the more difficult professions to acquire in our setting, largely because not a lot of people generally have been going into that discipline of psychiatry. Now, I tell you, I did almost 6 months of psychiatry, thinking of becoming a psychiatrist myself in the early years of my medical profession. But I didn't want to continue in that particular field. And so I switched over to internal medicine and later on specialized in infectious diseases. But it's a difficult area. And some people may say, why don't you just get a psychiatrist? Well, there are terms of employment and so availability, shortages and so forth, so that people just may not be available. So we've had psychiatrists for short periods of time, but it hasn't really gone on. So yes, there is a shortage, and the laws and so forth is in terms of requires it. But I think that this is something that I hope will be addressed. Now, the reason why, I know you had your hand up, Christal, to ask me something, but it's linked very much with what I started out with, and that whole issue of mental illness. International laws respect the situation. If somebody's mentally ill, they have to be evaluated in a particular way. I have no doubt that that person will eventually become evaluated, and evaluation can be certified by a psychiatrist. The individual may well have been seen by a clinical psychologist, but in terms of to satisfy all the legal requirements to determine whether the person is treated and how prosecution will progress for somebody who's mentally ill, and whether mental illness has to be resolved first before somebody could undergo trial. You can't really go and try somebody who's mentally ill in the same way as someone who is not mentally ill. And so those particular things have to be done. And the legal people may understand it much better than I do, but I would not say that the investigations are hindered. To me, having been down there, things are pretty clear, but in terms of lining all the dots, I think this is something that will take some time before all the psychiatric protocols and reviews are done so as to guide the prosecution and the DPP and so forth in terms of how best to proceed with this particular case. But it doesn't mean that the individual is going to be released or so forth. I think that, they will certainly continue receiving some sort of treatment and the hindrance of the prosecution just means that in terms of the pace it will be a little shorter. You know what I'm saying, Harry?
So, Doc, Christal was asking, you said that there's a psychologist. Christal was asking, who is a psychologist?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into names and so forth, but basically there's a competent, I don't want to get into names and so forth. There's a competent psychiatrist who heads the mental services, service right now, and highly skilled, has worked throughout the Caribbean as an asset to St. Vincent de Grenadines, a Vincentian, I must say. And really, in my own interaction, I want to applaud that individual and so forth without going into names and so forth.
I don't think it's harmful if it is that the person is well qualified for the job and has these accolades. I don't see how it's harmful to know the name, but
yes, that's right. I have a certain way of professional ilk and so forth. That's something that's easy to find out. I don't necessarily want to mention names.
That's fine. So there's another part of the story that stood out to me as you said what you were saying, and it reads: last year, the government was able to attract a psychiatrist from India, but she quit the job after just 2 months. So I have the article quotes, I quote Justice Brian Cottle saying in September that I got the impression that the volume and type of work she was being asked to do fell outside of what she was expecting, and I am not sure she felt that she was able to cope. She took the position, and she would no longer hold the position to be the person tasked with providing psychiatric evaluations for persons charged with criminal offenses. Eyewitness News says that according to a source that she said, the psychiatrist, that when she demented office, she said, I'm a psychiatrist, I know crazy when I see it, the amount of work is crazy and I'm not doing it.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, Ari. Yes, let me say, because of the way our laws are written, the psychiatrist has to end up going to court a great deal. And especially when cases are backed up or any of these situations, they have to go and testify in a court that this individual is this type of mental illness or that or not mentally ill, and can therefore prosecution can then proceed on the basis of somebody not being mentally ill, or prosecution should not continue and this individual should receive mental treatment for a period of time. And, you know, the prosecution and the defense will go back and forth and so forth, so that a tremendous amount of time in the psychiatrist's day is spent in these particular type of things. Really and truly, we don't need one psychiatrist. We need 2, 3, 4 with that ability to be able to be assigned to some of these things. I was speaking to psychiatrists in the Bahamas, psychiatrists into a number of other areas, and you know, it's very difficult to sometimes obtain the qualified individuals to come to a particular country that they don't normally belong to and stay there. You know, the salaries, all these sort of things, I'm sure will also be a factor. But psychiatrists are rare. I won't say they're rare, but they're hard to find. And the type of work, if you're sitting down speaking to people with depression and so forth, it's fine. But if you have to deal with going to court and all them sort of things, I think it can be a little bit more taxing on the individual who's a psychiatrist. They may not want that sort of thing, you see.
I think the volume, is the issue, the volume of persons. And again,
I'm not really sure if it's just the volume. I think that the whole process of the administrative work involved, the paperwork involved, that's also a bit of this volume maybe, but it's the paperwork. And so, I mean, if I'm a medical doctor and I want to see patients, I want to help patients, I want to make patients better, but I've got to write up reports and reports and reports and reports because the law says that these reports, then some people may not necessarily. Now, you can't change the law because that's the fundamental part of human rights. You know, these things are required. But the poor psychiatrists, if they're not so oriented and so, they will find that this is not the appealing job that they really trained for or they want to do.
Yeah, Doc, well, what you stopped me from saying is I believe that the volume of persons is too much for one person to go through this process. The story went on to say that at the end of the criminal assizes last December, acting superintendent of prisons, Dwayne Bailey, told the High Court that there were 40 mentally ill people in the prison system, 24 of whom were there for murder or manslaughter. 7 of them were awaiting trial. During that same sitting of the court, the DPP, is it Miss or Mr. McDowell? Yes. The DPP, Miss McDowell, said she continued as the head of chambers to struggle with how to deal with defendants who have psychiatric problems. McDowell told the High Court that the country did not have a psychiatrist even as witnesses, more so than defendants are being presented with psychological disorders as a result of the impact of crime. Those are the numbers that are presented to me here. What is the real impact of the crime? The chief prosecutor said. It seems like people are suffering and justice is suffering based on what is happening here, because in a lot of these cases, if it is that the people cannot be diagnosed or the length of time it takes to conduct these investigations, then it could hinder the entire judicial process.
Yes, I want to totally agree with you. But the fundamental issue is not that there isn't money to pay a psychiatrist. And it's not the situation that there isn't effort to try and obtain a psychiatrist. The thing is that in terms of psychiatrists' availability to be able to come to say Vincent. There aren't a lot of Vincentians who have gone into psychiatry as a profession. They've gone into other areas. And so you have to get someone who is an expatriate, some from another country, to come here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to work. And those circumstances, those have to be right in terms of doing that. So it's available, there's a shortage of those individuals who may want to basically travel and come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to work.
All
That's
right,
a bottom line.
So I have a bit to say about this, but we don't have time. And I see some calls trying to come through. I'm sorry, but we cannot take them because we have Courts Ready Cash joining us at 8:30, and the time is 8:29. You have to play the Courts ad and then come back.
So
with
yeah,
Courts.
we're gonna
So-
take a quick break, and we'll be
Okay.
back with Courts here on Activated Mornings this morning.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands. Providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
Did you know? Have you used them? Vertis, Medushi, Lilies. These are among the best bathroom tissue products available any place. Excellent quality, larger sheet sizes, and more sheets per roll. Check them out and compare with others. And guess what? Guess what? These are produced right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I tell you, Vinci's have class. Yes, real class as always. Let's keep our standards high. Buy Vertis, Medushi, and Lib.
Flexible payment terms, fast approval, and hassle-free service, so you can do all the important things you need with ease. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Visit us in-store or apply online at www.shopcourts.com. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
All right, good morning. What did I do? What did I not do rather? Good morning and welcome back. This time we're just awaiting a call, a live link up with Port Ready Cash. They're ready when you are, and we're ready, and you are ready, and everybody's getting ready. 8:32. I don't know. 8:32 is the time right now, and of course you're listening to WFM 99.9 FM. I said FM already. Small scene. So I threw you out. I threw Ari out. I was like, get out. You know? Excuse me a bit. All right, so
I think he's back.
yeah.
Yes,
Guess who's
We have a
back?
quick caller. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Good morning.
Good
This is Sarah giving a call
morning.
from Coach Ready Cash.
Hello. Good morning. She sounds sprightly. How are you this morning?
I'm good. And how are you?
I am doing wonderful despite the Monday blues. But even better now that we have Courts Ready Cash on the line. So what's up with you guys today?
Okay, so good morning to all of the listeners out there. You guys know that Coach Ready Cash always have something in store. So we currently have a promotion where if you take your loan from any other institution and you bring it to us, you get a 25% off of your interest rate. Also, we have a cash referral, if you and your friend both take a loan and you guys are both successful, you get cash back in return.
Money back?
Now, yes.
Kidding.
Yes, you and your friends both get money back.
I love that.
Okay. And also, we have a money tree. We have a money tree where if you take $3,000 or more, you get a chance to win prizes such as grocery vouchers, and so much more. And the grand prize for that promotion now is a weekend for two at the Sandals Resort.
Sandals, you say, no?
Yes, Sandals, yes, Sandals Resort in St. Vincent here, yes. Okay, so all you need to take a loan from us is 2 pieces of ID, your most recent job letter, your most recent payslip, proof of address, no deposit. You come and you get your loan at Coach Ready Cash. You could be renovating or you need that extra cash, we got you covered at Coach Ready Cash.
Lovely, lovely.
We also have payday loans where you can get up to $1,000 and you will pay within 3 months with no interest and no hassle, and hassle free as well. We also have agricultural fund where we give farmers and people in the fisher industry where you get an interest. The interest is way low. You can get a loan. The interest is way lower on that. All you need to bring 2 pieces of ID. A business must be in operation for at least 1 year. You can bring your business certificate, a 6 months bank statement from the bank, and you can get up to $27,000.
Nice,
okay?
Lovely.
Yes, we are also located opposite the post office. Our opening hours are 8 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. You can contact us. Our contact numbers are 493-3840 or 493-7623. Also, extension, they are 2120, 2122, 2123, or 2124. You can reach out to us at readyfinancecaribbean.com. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, lovely. So your locations, you give us some contact numbers.
We are located opposite the post office.
Okay.
Right next to Lady J, opposite the post office. Coach Ready Cash is right there.
Yes. Smell the popcorn and go right next to it.
Yes.
If you know, you know.
Yes.
All right. For persons who are not able to physically make it to your office, can they reach out to you via email, website, social media? How does it work online?
Yes. They can reach out to. We actually have a website which is readyfinancecaribbean.com. And also we have a Facebook page as well. So they can reach out to us via Facebook as well and at readyfinancecaribbean.com if they can't make it into the office.
All right. Lovely. Anything else you want to share with us this morning from Ready Cash?
That's it for today.
All right. Awesome. Lovely. You have yourself a wonderful day. And
Okay,
of course,
thank you.
sending regards to the entire team. Good morning.
Okay, all right.
All right. You take care. Have a wonderful day. All right. And that was Courts
Thank
Ready
you.
Cash joining us today as they usually do on a Monday morning. Thank you so much for listening. Of course, they're ready when you are.
Switch to a Ready Cash loan today. Bring your loan to us and get 25% off your interest rate. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and hassle-free service. So you can do all the important things you need with ease. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Visit us in-store or apply online at www.shopcourts.com. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be overlooked when it comes to your car or whatever you drive. SVG Tire Sales and Services in Falls Avenue and in Arnisvale carries a wide selection of quality new tires to fit any car, truck, minibus, or SUV, so you can experience a comfortable and safe commute every time. We are agents for the world's most reliable brands on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain, Cooper Tires, king of the road and track, Osto, the king of the outback, and High Fly, the king of the Asian highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnisvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Alan Smith and Family Bakery, the worldwide name for all your bakery needs, specializing in wedding cakes, birthday cakes, the world-famous hard dough and light dough, multi-grain by special order, and now available baguette bread at all your leading supermarket outlets. And for that sweet tooth, currant rolls, jam buns, homemade sweet bread, guava and apple tarts, butter and oatmeal cookies, and for your savory needs, beef and chicken patties. Alan Smith and Family Bakery supplies bread to the Grenadines, Leeward and Windward side of the island. Contact us at Alan Smith Family Bakery at gmail.com. Call us 457-8317, 457-8550, or 533-0943. Located along the main road in Camden Park Industrial Estate, we are the healthy choice. All our products are made with 0 grams trans fat ingredients. Quality is our passion. We open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sundays and public holidays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you for your patronage over the years and for your continued support in the years ahead.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back, listeners. We're back with Activated Mornings this morning. You have on this panel Ari, Christal, and of course, Doc Thompson. Christal, I see you doing a lot of writing there. I know you have a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, because I've spoken about mental health, wealth, mental illness. I think for the past 6 years, it's almost 6 years since I've been on radio. Wow. And it pops up very often, and I hold on to the same argument. It's something it is getting better slowly but surely, but it's still a bit too overlooked in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure that other persons who understand what goes on would share the same sentiments. But I have so many questions about this. I'm absolutely certain that we've had before this last person, there was somebody who was on contract, who used to fly in, get some work done, and fly back out. Well, obviously, that is no more. And as you said, I don't see why not mention the clinical psychologist who is at the mental health rehabilitation center, the head, sorry, who is working to, well, who's working point blank, leave it at that. So this person, the article says from India.
Yeah.
Did it say from India?
Yeah.
She left because it was just too much work. It was just too much work. Is she still here? Has she gone back? Is she working as a psychiatrist separately? Because outside of the government work, is she still available to serve the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Because outside of her, then what is? Right? What is? The shortage of psychiatrists. How is St. Vincent and the Grenadines? We have already identified, and it's not just now, it's a couple of years we've been having this problem. This has been an issue time and time again. What is the plan going forward for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to try to tackle the problem of a shortage of psychiatrists? We've seen the judicial system and how valuable it is. And just because somebody, let me just point out, just because somebody commits a crime and they say, oh, they're going to call crazy, quote unquote, that's the talk on the streets, it doesn't mean these psychiatrists are very professional people. It doesn't mean that that person is going to be diagnosed with a mental illness and they're going to quote unquote get off. They have to do their evaluations on what's not. You can't trick a psychiatrist. At least I don't think so. Folks who are mentally unwell, that's why we have a mental health rehabilitation. That's why sometimes people need to be institutionalized. That's why sometimes people need to be put on medication to try to control their responses because they have little to no control and it gets really bad. These people still need the assistance of the system. They commit a crime. Yes, it is wrong. It is illegal. It's immoral. But if they have no control over what they did at the time of the criminal act, they still need that support. Point blank. So I think it's worth, they're probably doing something and they've not shared it with the public. But what is the long-term plan for SVG concerning psychiatry? Because we needed to fix it yesterday.
Christal, you've hit the nail on the head. I couldn't say it more. You know, we've had increases in the number of urologists, the number of surgeons, the number of pediatricians. We cover a couple of urologists now who've been sanctioned. We have a number of pathologists who've been sanctioned. We have a growing number, and neurosurgeon. We never had neurosurgeons before. You know, we now have neurosurgeons from Cuba. The acute referral or the acute care hospital that's going to be starting in a matter of a few months' time up at in Annesville. That's going to have a number of specialists and so. But in the area of psychiatry, I think it's a special area. And the lack of Vincentians, even if a Vincentian is encouraged to go into an area, you know, Ari, the person eventually coming back to St. Vincent to work is always those issues related to bonding and all this other things and so forth. But hitting the nail on the head, I think they will have to get somebody to fly in. It's going to be a temporary situation and so forth. But in terms of the long term, it just really means attracting, whether you pay a psychiatrist far more than anybody else to come to St. Vincent. You know what I mean? The rules of the Public Service Commission and employing and so forth, you know, it can't go so far in terms of what you can do. But I think it's an area that some special provision have to be made in this regard.
You know, Doc.
But let me just say something.
Okay.
In terms of the people who are dealing with mental illness in general, I think they're doing a great job. And people with mental illness, you know, if Ari, you had mental illness, you can seek attention here in St. Vincent. The problem that's faced is with these criminal related issues in the court where someone has to make a determination. Is this somebody who is fit to stand trial or not? You understand? And having somebody to be able to do that, there's a shortage of that particular person, no matter how long it might be. So you get somebody for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years, that's fine. But, expect that other islands are going through the same thing. It isn't the same business isolated. It isn't that various parts of the United States are going through the same thing, or other countries. It's a shortage, I think, globally, internationally, in relation to these type of professions.
My final point, right? The stitching time saves 9.
Yeah.
I think if we give a bit more focus, and when I say we, I mean the individual, the church, the school, the the Ministry of Health, the country, we give a bit more attention to mental wellness. Some of these criminal acts could probably be prevented, because if the person does become mentally unwell, then you see they may not go to the extreme, and there may not be a need for this or the service. But is it a case where we're having more people that are mentally unwell by way of not taking care of themselves mentally, or they are not or they are taking some sort of drugs or mushrooms or whatever the case is? So gonna take a call because people have been trying to get in. Hello, good morning. Psychedelics is what I meant to say. Psychedelics. All right, 4579997 is the number to call, or WhatsApp to join us.
That was going to be my suggestion, that some sort of special provision be made or raising pay, something that would attract a psychiatrist here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But okay.
Aren't you certain that's how the person from India got here, because it was an attractive package? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning to my brother there, Mr. Thompson. I just want to say something, and I want you to have to tolerate the public, because everybody have different views. So Mr. Thompson will have his view. We must have our views, even though, so I just want to say, think about this, Christal, that at the hospital, the very basics, I'm not talking politics, the very basics in terms of medication. So you see, antibiotics run out. The very significant shot run out. And then all of a sudden, that Mr. Thompson said it's not a money issue. Look at the reality. How do we pay our civil servants $30+ $35 million in order to pay them? You have to go into the red. So the overdraft limit is $32 million. How does the economy run, Mr. Thompson? It runs when you have a vibrant economy. We have the best soil. We have the best tourism package, and that is dead. We are the bottom of the scale in the Caribbean. Basically, in order for us to get $400,000 to pay our hard-working student, we have to go take it from NAS. And you're saying not a money issue. Not just this one situation. For years, we've been begging. What is so hard? You're talking about building a hospital. How do you build a hospital? You have a magnificent country like Venezuela with many, many hospitals. They cannot even keep 80% of the medication in it. And you're telling the public, well, everything will complete and rosy. We ain't have this, we can't get to the psychologist because it ain't a money issue. Well, what issue is it? I mean, for me, for God's sake, really, it is time, Christal, that our leaders were paid with our taxpayers' money. It is time we stop this kind of deception. We want back our economy. If we get back our economy, tourism, agriculture, citizens investment program is what's same in the other country. We will get all of these things, but we cannot get it with the ULP. We have to get it, not even with the NDP. We have to get it with caring people like you in that radio station. To get Christal and News in the station to run our country, to run it like a democracy. It is time now that our public we find truth. Mr. Thompson need to do better.
The shouting, Mr. Hamilton.
Yes. Sorry. Listen, I want to apologize for laughing in terms of Mr. Hamilton commenting on mental issues. You know what I mean?
Leave
caller?
We have a call. Leave it. I know where you're going.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, we don't know if it was an attractive package that attracted the psychiatrist from India, but Doc also mentioned stuff like people on bond. I could say there are a lot of people that's not on bond, or some people whose bond agreement allow them to work outside the Caribbean, and because of lack of opportunity here, they ended up working in other places.
Hello, good morning. A small P.
Yes, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Welcome, go ahead. Sorry.
I have been hearing about this psychiatrist not available at our main institution, or maybe the only institution in the country, for how much years now? And I have to ask the question, is a psychiatrist important in the development of our country, or to take care of certain matters?
Yes.
Because I'm getting a feeling or the impression when you hear some of these people speak, who speak on this matter, that it ain't a big thing. A psychiatrist is not important to us. Right? I remember the days of Dr. Corliss. I don't know if Christal ever heard about that name, Dr. Corliss. Well, to be honest, I don't know if he was a psychiatrist or what if he was. Then I think the last one I remember who was here for a while was an Indian guy by the name of Dr. Debnath. And I call the names because why are we afraid to call names? If Dave Roberts is a psychiatrist, and Dave Roberts is a psychiatrist, is that a bad word? We're so hypocritical. Or when something, But I know why, I know why around certain appointments in certain positions, it is always questionable. So I have come to the understanding that psychiatrists are not important to Sylvia. I would love to hear how the Prime Minister will address this, because I heard too much of his, what should I call them? Too much of his lesser, or those who believe in him so much, trying to defend why we don't have psychiatrists and all of that. I have a relative who lectures in Canada, but she can't come back here to work for no kind of pay money. Otherwise, I would encourage you to come back and take over the position. Huh? But so what happened? The government cannot make the position available for, let's say, Christal interested or whoever interested. I don't think they're making enough effort to get a psychiatrist. We should have had our very own Vincentian, man or woman, already in this position. Lord have his mercy. Okay, maybe in the next 10 years, I will still hear Dr. Thompson coming back. He can't call him and all this kind of thing. Have a good day. Bye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
You know something? I'm saying, as a profession, I am not an individual who basically mentions name. And that question was asked. I think it's easy for anybody to find out who is the head of the psychiatric service. I don't need to mention names and so forth on the thing. That's my own personal preference. Now, in terms of a psychiatrist, is critically important. I've only tried to add to the whole picture of why. If somebody wants to say it's because the government hates psychiatrists or the government A1 or psychiatrists, if somebody wants to, if they want to say that, well, he has a right to be able to say that. I disagree with him in saying that. I basically feel, from my own knowledge, that the psychiatrists, in terms of pay scale and other things like that and so forth, the monies are available within the context of the pay scale. If there's a special provision to pay a psychiatrist 2, 3, 4 times the amount of money because there is a shortage internationally and the special pay scale, well, maybe you might have to do that. But what it does is then the general surgeon, the other individuals, and so when those things get short, they have to do the same thing too. I'm not really sure what the solution is. They'll have to continue special measures to try and get the psychiatrist in. But I think that in other islands, the situation also pertains. It's also true. It's also true of rural areas in a number of other countries can't attract a psychiatrist because one isn't available to go in those particular areas. It's not my fault. It's not anybody's fault in particular. It's just that you will find these sort of things. There's one area that may be short, a general surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a this, that. It's unfortunate. I hope it can be resolved.
I hope it can be resolved soon as well. But people, y'all take care of yourselves, man. Try to take care of yourselves. If you know
But
something,
it
just
goes,
eat.
Crystal,
Make-
it goes much more than that, you know. Certain things people could take care of themselves. There are many different types of mental illness. And the reason for a particular type of mental illness developing is not necessarily because someone's not taking care of themselves. It is true that drugs, it is true alcohol, it is true certain things can induce certain types of mental illness. But sometimes, in the same way that somebody develops a cancer, or somebody develops a particular high blood pressure or a particular thing, it isn't because necessarily of something they did wrong, it's their fault. It's because those illnesses typically can develop, you know, isolated of a specific cause that they induced on themselves or society induced on them. And I don't really want it all to go in the direction as you might have suggested. There are these illnesses, acute psychosis, depression. You could have a thyroid problem where your thyroxine level is low and it leads to depression. You could have a brain tumor and so forth. Before we had CAT scans and MRIs, you know, anyway, I could go on and on and on, you know.
Unfortunately, we can't. The time is now 9 o'clock in Vincent, and we have to make room for bank rates, and we will be back with activated mornings at 9:20 this morning.